Hello, everyone. I've got the earphones ready when I'm going to play some audio, so everyone can hear it. Hello, Daydreamer Stratus. Yes, Earth, we are going to rate the workstations. And Arch, I'm going to just leave a message. Put them in. We have a special Discord set up for this, so I'm just giving some instructions. So yeah, let me go back to Earth's question. Yes, we are absolutely going to rate the workstations. And what I'm going to do is give people the ability to submit workstations for us to review and react to. And that's going to require a join, because we can't do that over YouTube, the chat comments. So what I'm going to do is get people to join a Discord, the Drawing Tablet Discord server. And there's a channels reserved for chatting and for people to react to comments. So let's just give it a few minutes and get a few more people here. I think we have around 6, and a couple of them have already joined the Discord. And I've got my water. I am relaxed, going to stay hydrated. And in a few minutes, I'll explain how to join the Discord and where to put what we're trying to do tonight. So, okay. Let me try now. I've got a rather complicated streaming setup right now, so bear with me on this one. Okay, and I think everyone can hear me. So, yeah, today we're going to do a setup review, and we're going to go, as we always do, go far afield. But let me give you the basics. So first, I don't know. I just always assume everyone online is on Reddit. You might have visited this subreddit called Battle Stations. And in Battle Stations, Battle Station just means, a setup, a desk setup. And I'll give an example of one, actually, which is like this. I just found this today. I have no clue about the author of this, who posted it or if it, anything more. But a couple things to point out, looking at these battle stations, as they call them, they can look really interesting. A lot of them have this one has a lot of lighting. And of course, if you're a gamer, you have to have RGB lighting. That's just the rule these days. And so the thing is not all of them, but if you go to our battle stations, most of these are really focused on productivity, a lot of gaming workstations. And sometimes you see a lot of people with, who have musical equipment there, and lots of diverse interests. But, mostly it seems to be productivity or gaming, maybe coding. And what we wanted to do in this session, and I've had multiple requests from people over the last few months, to just have a light, fun stream where we look at these workstations. But we wanted to focus on people who are doing digital art, because there's some unique things people do when they have a workstation and they're setting it up to, paint digitally, right? So that's the focus of today. And, we're optimized on setups, focused on setups optimized for digital art. Now, to make this easy, we need a way for people to submit workstations and setups to us. So the easiest way right now is to join the Drawing Tablet Discord. I originally created this Discord as a place for people to sort of be more interactive when they're talking about drawing tablets rather than going to Reddit, because Reddit, it's sometimes hard to have a more interactive discussion, and there was no way to stream things on Reddit. So I created a Drawing Tablet Discord. Originally, it was sort of just paired with that Reddit, but it's sort of taken on a life of its own, the Drawing Tablet subreddit. And so I'm using it for more and more things these days. Mist, let me show this comment so everyone can see this. Wasn't there already an artist battle station subreddit? I hadn't seen it, Mist. If anyone can find it and share the link, please let us know. We can take a look there too. I had never seen it. I think I searched before and couldn't find one. Oh, I think I see you left a comment. It's been dead for a while though. And that, That doesn't surprise me. Lots of subreddits seem to die after a little bit of activity. But anyway, what I'd like you to do is to join this Discord, and I'm going to paste in the link again, just so everyone has it. And if you have trouble joining, just try for a different browser or something. This link does work, but for some reason some people occasionally get problems with it. And what in that Discord, there are not that many channels, honestly, and it's only about 300 people, so it's not this huge Discord. But what happens there, and what we'd like to do for tonight. Now, the Discord, we're chatting all day about digital art and drawing tablets, right? And I just wanted to make sure people understood what we do there, because, this is a very specific Discord. It's really focused on digital art. So we really try to stay on topic, which is tablets and digital art. Of course, sometimes we go a little bit off tangent, but that's the purpose of the Discord. Another thing is nothing not safe for work, because we do get rather young people there sometimes, 16-year-olds, et cetera, who are, it's maybe they're beginning digital art and they're looking for recommendations. So, we want to give them a safe environment, right? And so just keep these simple rules in mind. And of course, be kind to people, right? Now, when you join the Discord, I've set up, what do you call this, a category or something? I have 2 channels, livestream-chat and livestream-react. React means go there and post something, and I'll show it in a minute. And then I'll put it on screen, and then we can react to it. I'll react to it, and people can leave comments. Now, the other thing that I thought would be useful for me is, I know we're also on YouTube, and people are chatting in the comments there. But there's also, I added a live stream chat, because sometimes it's a very specific set of discussion happening on when I'm live streaming. That's different from our general channel, okay? So if you need to have a lot of chatting, go to live stream chat or just do it on the YouTube comments. I think it's easier in live stream chat because there are just more features in Discord for chatting. And I'll try to look at both the YouTube comments and the live stream comments, okay? And I'll try to project them as well. But if you need people to see something, just go to livestream-react, right? Now, what do we want to have as submissions? First of all, share your setup, as simple as it might be, as involved and complex as it might be. Just share. Let's see what you're working on. I'm particularly interested in sort of novel ways people arrange their tablets, and that's something that I think keeps a lot of gaming workstations, battle stations different from drawing workstations. Some people have multiple tablets. They put their tablets in sort of very interesting vertical positions. And also feel free to share other people's setups. We're more than happy to take a look and see what other people are doing. For example, I know Ergo Josh had, I thought, just a beautiful room and drawing setup and just live streaming setup. And it was just really very interesting to see. I'll try to show that. So don't, share other people's setups as well. Now, some things beyond just the setups, I'm really interested in the ergonomics of things, because lots of people, for example, use drawing tablets because their wrist hurts. And of course, there's all sorts of thinking around, you want to have your back straight up as opposed to hunched over, and what works well for you. I've seen so many people use different kinds of arms and stands, etc. And then one other thing I'm really looking for is different kinds of input devices. So, for example, my favorite is the Tourbox. I know it's a little expensive, but for me, it's very critical for drawing. And I know other people use all sorts of little controllers or gaming controllers or smaller keyboards. So I'm really curious in the setups, or we can just talk even about individual devices. But I'm really curious in the setups what people are using. I didn't list it here. Another thing I think about is, and actually I am planning to do a video on it later in the year, which is mini PCs. Now, mini PCs are, I don't have, actually I have a Mac Mini right in front of me, an M4 Mac Mini. And I think this year, computers like the Mac Mini and, probably Lunar Lake mini PCs or whatever, these are going to be really important devices for people, because they're starting to have a lot of power. They're starting to be something where you can really use for doing digital art. And another thing I'm interested in there is are people using mini PCs? I know a couple of people in the Discord are, and also I always think of mini PCs as maybe that plus a pen display might be a better choice than a pen computer, because you can upgrade the mini PC part faster than you can the entire pen computer. And then finally, aesthetics. I'm really interested in how people arrange their workspace, what it looks like, the colors that they use. And, not everything has to be rainbow RGB. Okay. So with that, I think that was my final comment. Let's, you see, I was doing a little bit of research here. Okay, let me go back to my camera for a second, and then I'll do a little bit of arrangement here. And I'll show you the Discord so everyone can see what's going on. Where's the Discord? Okay. So I think this is it. There we go. You can see the Discord. It's a drawing tablet Discord. I'm a member of course, a couple of other Discords. And I'm going to scroll down, and under live stream, I have the two channels I mentioned, live stream chat and live stream react. Let me open up live stream react. I'll click that, and already we have some people sharing, right? So what I'll do is I will open some of these up, and I'll just do it. Arch was the first one to submit one, so I will go ahead and get there, and I'll just go ahead and open in browser so we can see it as big as possible. And I think this is Arch's setup, and Art, what I see here is you've got it looks like you have rather this looks like Ergotron based ARM, so it's pretty sturdy. Looks like the HX LX or something similar to it. And Arch, it looks like you've got I'm not sure if that's a Cintiq 16 or a Huion or an XP pen, so maybe you can tell us. Let's see. Oh, Mist has a comment here. I used a Clip Studio TabMate, but ended up, because it started to malfunction a few months later. Interesting. Let me fix this comment a bit here. It's not. But it ended up because it started to malfunction. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really curious with the Clip Studio TabMate. The only reason I didn't get one was everyone said it was small, and I'm just used to the TurboBox, which is rather large. Okay, Arch, anything you want to comment here about your setup? I'm looking at your. Oh, he's got more here. Let me bring up the Discord again. My miss. Let me close this and get here. Attached via dual lock, because this is Huion, I guess. Oh, it's it didn't have VESA holes. Interesting. Dual lock means what? Is that do I understand that correctly, Arch? It's tape, like some 3M tape that's on both sides or something. Could you please let me know? Because I've heard that word before, but I've never knew what it was. I have been too scared to use something like that. I'm always very panicked about that. And yeah, by the way, I I love Arch's comment. Below is also one of those only uses for the awful Huion ST300s, which is as a tray. I'm right there with you, Arch. I do not like those trays. Those stands just are too. They make too much noise. They're not flimsy, but they're not elegant. Okay. So it's 3M dual lock adhesive. I'm going to check that out. There are a couple of things I've been wanting to I want to hang a couple of USB hubs underneath my desk. So I'm actually interested in what people are using for that. And some of these things are not light. So that's another thing I was really interested on. And let's see, Art says this is Ergotron LX. Okay. Because I looked exactly like the one I had. Canvas 16 2021. Decent PC, decent pen display. Choose L7 mouse. Game in background. Peripetaya, which you should buy. It's Peripetaya. Interesting. Okay, and there was one more comment I missed. Now I got a small numpad with RGB light, half the price of the TabMate. Oh, so it's just a normal numpad. The only I've been wanting to try a numpad, but I just I'm too used to the Turbox, quite honestly. And Ard says, I never really liked the ST300 for drawing, but it works like a charm for small fighting game controllers to be able to use them on the lap. Oh, interesting. I hadn't even thought that anyone would use it for any other purpose. That is very interesting. Okay. And now let's take a look. Who submitted one next? Martin. Martin has some pictures here. Let's take a look here. The most important thing Martin is showing us, though, is that, and I've seen this picture before, is that lovely cat. That's also a requirement. By the way, I'm allergic to cats, but I love cats. But I will die if I'm around a cat and have to breathe whatever's around a cat. But I adore them. I adore them. Look at that. Look, that's I've seen that keyboard before, Martin. I just can't remember the name of it. Let's go back here to, where's that darn Discord? There we go. And then, ooh, what is this? So you've got your tablet here. It looks like a Wacom. And is it the Apple Magic keyboard? And then a pen display here. This is, I think, another Wacom. What is that, the 22HD? Oh, hello, Martin. So Nizio, is that okay? Pochita, what a cute name. Does it mean something? The name of your cat? It's a very cute cat, by the way. Newfie Air 75 is the name of the keyboard. Martin says. Oh, missed. I want a Turbox so bad, but in my country, buying that bad boy means not eating for a month. It is expensive. It is very expensive. Let's see. What else is Martin showing? And it looks like you also have a mini PC, Martin. I'm a huge fan of the Mac Mini right now. Huge fan of it. I like this. So you got a very basic setup. I think the Mac Mini is going to be a huge deal. I want to do a video on mini PCs for art, and I think it's really my number one right now, honestly. Let's see. Intuos pen and touch with Magic Keyboard on top. Okay. Is that Pochita is the name of a Chainsaw Man character. I have seen clips from Chainsaw Man, and I was actually pretty amazed with the quality of animation. I haven't kept up with anime in decades. Just to put everyone in perspective on the last anime I saw, I think it was Macros Plus. Yeah, that Macros Plus was, I think, the last anime I saw. I believe that's like in the year 2000 or in the 90s or something. So that's where I'm at. That's where I ended at. Though, of course, by contact with a lot of people who know anime, I know the names of more anime than I've seen. Let's just say it that way. Never going back to Windows, Martin says. My problem is this. I love the Mac Mini hardware, but I love the Windows operating system. Okay. And to me, Mac OS look, I'm not blaming it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. My mind is just oriented toward Windows so deeply. And for those who don't know, I worked on Windows in Microsoft. I actually did things in Windows, right? So my orientation in my head is very Windows centric, and I'm just used to it. Macros Plus is $19.95. Oh my gosh. I really dated myself with a 30-year-old anime. By the way, if anyone hasn't seen Macross Plus, watch it. It is, I still think it holds up incredibly well. Okay, and let's see, Martin has talked it. Character in Chainsaw Man is that name? Is that demon? Oh, I've seen that dog. I've seen that. That's a cute looking dog they have in the anime. The cat's a demon. And Mist has moved on, it looks like, to Linux. Visual says Windows is freedom. Whitcrack just joined. Interesting topic. Glad you joined us. I'm going to put, again, the link to the Discord for anyone who wants to join us. And just post in the live stream -react channel if you want to share a setup. And let's see if we have any more from, I believe, from Martin here. I love your artwork. I love you. It's just the style I like, by the way. Is Martin? Is the legs keeping this up? That's part of Wacom's normal stand for this tablet, or is that something special? Beautiful. We need more pictures of the cat, Martin. Please, Pochita, please. Nice. Like the iPad setup here too. Hello, silly champion. Arch is going to distract me with Macros Plus. The best part of Macros is when they fire up the Arch gravity engines. Oh yeah, yes. It took me a second to figure out where that scene is. By the way, just to be clear, like many Americans, my thing about Macros really came from Robotech, right? But I was like a very young kid when Robotech came out, but I was obsessed with it. And that scene where they turn on the engines and they just fly straight out, I thought it was the funniest thing ever. I could not get enough of that. I've been meaning to do a rewatch of the Robotech saga sometime soon. Nice setup. Okay, let's take a look at whose is this? Is this still Martin's? Yeah, it's still Martin's. XP Pen 19 Gen 2 with a laptop. Are you still using the XP Pen, Martin? Or have you switched? I like it. And then Art showed me this. Let's see what Silly has. Okay, I'll take a look at the chat. Okay, and Martin answered, yeah, basic Cintiq 22 HT stand, yes. I got a good question, well, I should say the Wacom subreddit got a good question about upgrading from the Cintiq 22 HD. And I would say, I think someone wants to give themselves a present. And I would say, I'm just talking out loud since Martin has mentioned the Cintiq 22 HD. And I would say, I would recommend, since it sounds like this is going to be a gift to oneself that, to spend some money, the Cintiq Pro 22 is just amazing. I still think it's, if it didn't have that fan noise, I would classify it as perfect. But, it's still amazing, right? Let's see, we have a comment. M. Dicey. Hi, thanks for your suggestions. You are welcome. Happy always to help. M. Dicey. Getting Welcome into his Pro on Wednesday. Congratulations. Which one are you getting? Oh, and by the way, everyone may not know this. We all know, I think, a week ago, Wacom Intuos Pro 2017 launched. I did a live stream about it. It was a lot of fun. And on Wacom Store, it had been out of stock since then. However, someone posted on the Wacom subreddit that it is now on the Wacom Store, and it's no longer says out of stock. And I actually, about 3 or 4 hours ago, I actually bought all three: the large, the medium, and the small. Now I know that seems crazy a little bit, maybe, that I bought all three, but I did. First of all, there's a little, maybe the collector in me did want to have the full set. Number two, I really did want to see what the sizes felt like. I really did want to see, so that's another reason I got them. It did obviously cost a little bit. I think it came out to $1,230 or something like that. But, and here's how I justified spending that much money. They don't release these tablets often, okay? So it's going to be like a decade before we see another Intuos Pro update. So, it's not like I'm going to buy more of these. Like I've got 3 and it's going to be fantastic, right? The other reason I want to get the small, honestly, is sometimes I'm doing testing and getting the large and the medium are just cumbersome to get out of, wherever I store my tablets. So having the small is just kind of convenient for testing reasons. Let's see. I actually made a short horror movie featuring Pochita. Nothing bad happened to her. Background. Please do share. Please do share. Love to see people share their creations. I use the XP pen when I go traveling. Okay, that's cool. So you switch between different kinds of tablets. I think that's rare. I don't think too many people actually do that. Oh, sorry, Macros Plus from 1994. The movie edition is 1995. Okay, got it. Did I say 20? Uh, tablet P or uh, you tell me how you want to say it. You said tablet kitten or tablet puppy, whichever one. But did I get the date wrong? Did I say 2017 and I meant what should have I said? 2025. Man, my brain must have. Oh, I see. 2025 was correct. Sorry for the mistake. I bought large, medium, small of the new Intuos Pro 2025. Thank you so much, Tablet P. And Silly Champion $500. Yeah, I think that's the large cost of large. It is a bit much, to be honest. M Dicey getting the medium one. I think you can enjoy it. Yeah, we are going to be stuck with that design for 8 more years, and that is just the way it is. Hey, I have to say, I'll talk about it later, but people are giving some pretty harsh feedback to Wacom about it. I think one of the tweets was like, whoever designed this should be fired. And Wacom responded very nicely, but some people are really unloading on Wacom. Maybe that's a little harsh to say someone should be fired. Let's see what the design is like. We never know what a change will be like until we actually have it in our hands. Puppy, kitten. Okay, tablet kitten. I'll say tablet kitten. Puppy was a joke name in the first place. Okay, got it. I always want to call people by the name or nickname they want, so I'm more than happy to accommodate someone. Okay, I was trying to show Silly's. Let's see. Okay, and I like it's very simple. I love the red mouse, small keyboard, and where's the tablet? Let's see if we can take a look here. Are you draw in bed? Because sometimes I do that, but I'm a face down drawer. Let's see if we can see this a little more clearly. Spoiler. Hey, oh, whoa. This is good stuff. I like this, Silly. This is nice. I liked everything. Especially, I like this one. I love the colors of this one. I'm actually very scared of using very intense colors, so I'm very happy to see this. But I tell you what really caught my eye was this. And so actually now that Silly has done this, I should have said this earlier. Feel free to share your art. Okay? If you want to share your setup or someone else's setup, show us also what you've been creating with your setup, okay? Because we want to know each other, understand what we like to create. And it's a good opportunity to showcase what you're really proud of. Now, if you don't want to show something, I totally get it. But I think, speaking for myself and speaking for others, I think we'd love to see what people are creating. And I love this. This is like something I could never create, honestly. I just don't have this sense of color or of placement of objects. I can't do it. My skills are really drawing like an Apu or a Pepe or something. That's the level of my art. It's so bad, or so primitive. Maybe it'd be a better way of saying it. But this is magnificent. Okay, let's see if we have. Oops. Tablet Kitten is showing us something. Open in browser. And what are we seeing here? We're seeing a pen display, keyboard, and this is is it a Wacom? Yeah, it is a Wacom. That looks like a PTH 660 tablet kit. And this thing is interesting. I have seen this, but I don't know what people do with it. Is this for OSU or something? Or no, that I think OSU people have the things with just 2 buttons, right? I like this setup though. So you're one of those people, it looks like that uses a pen display and a pen tablet. But in this case, this looks like a Huion or something. So are you using them both as tablets or using the pen display as just a monitor? Okay, let's go back to the chat here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, Mist has a comment. Hot take: as ugly as the design of the new Intuos is, I know very few people who use the actual express keys in the tablet. Most draw with their tablet on the side. Draw with their tablet on the side. You mean on the side of the keyboard? Okay. I don't know. I would like to do a poll. Not right now, but maybe I can figure out how to do it on my YouTube community page or in the subreddit or the Discord. But I want to do a poll on people. Do people actually use the express keys, and where they orient their keyboard relative to their pen tablet? When I'm drawing with a medium size pen tablet, it's right under the keyboard, meaning between me and the keyboard. But when it's large, I keep it. Sorry, let me back up. I made a mistake. When it's a medium thing, it's to the right. When it's large, then I keep it, between me and the keyboard. But I think a lot of people showed on the side. I think that's true. The new configs helps absolutely does. It really does. They reduced a ton of bezel. Now I'm of both minds about the bezel topic. I originally thought, okay, I'm gonna get a little philosophical here for a second. How can I say this? In monitors, traditionally we've wanted to minimize bezels. Okay, I think that's just been the trend, and I guess I had that same idea about pen tablets, like many of us had. After using the Wacom Intuos Pro Large, which has really large bezels, by the way, I kind of have fallen in love with large bezels. And the reason for that is when I have a smaller bezel, and I tried it with like the Huion RTP 700, my wrist would be at the edge of it, like this, right? Like would bump up. And so that's why I kind of enjoyed the exercise of the bezels, because it changed the tablet from being an EMR sensor that's wrapped in plastic to being this kind of magical drawing surface where creativity. I know I'm getting kind of wild with this comment, but there's something kind of magical about having a large mat in front of you, like this tablet, where you can just draw in the middle of it magically. When you make the bezel too small, it really emphasizes the fact that there's an EMR sensor in the middle of it, right? Does that make any sense? Maybe I'm crazy. And let's see, tablet. Kitten says UG-U12 and yep, PTH 660. And the SEO device 03C++. That's the little keyboard thing. I'll take a look if you have the animated picture. UG display is just being relegated as a display. And I think some art says some bezels are useful in tablets because you don't fall off a cliff if you need to draw a line. Yeah, that's another benefit of a bezel, right? Because maybe part it's even psychological. I feel nervous when I'm getting close to the edge, right? No, I get it. Some people have responded to me and they told me, well, you can just recenter your canvas and have as much. Hello, Azalea. Hello, Azalea. Good to see you. And thank you for saying that I am not crazy. I appreciate it. But yeah, the fall off a cliff sensation it comes into my head. And people always tell me though you can recenter your canvas so that you can have as much bezel as you want effectively. I get it, but I get the logic in the statement, but it doesn't feel right to me. Okay, let's get back to this. And look at this. Everyone's got more monitors than I expected. So this is, that's the tablet, a monitor, another monitor. And oh, I see you have your microphone for when you. Lately, Tablet Kitten has been posting videos on YouTube. So if you want really some interesting, like detailed commentary on tablets, go to Tablet Kitten's YouTube channel. And let's see, you canvas. Nice. Oh, nice. And it provided an annotation. Oh, this is the annotation that you mentioned. Thank you. Thank you. And I thought, let's see if I can show. There's a bottle of hot sauce here, which is a Tabasco sauce, which that was the one detail that caught my eyes. I also have not small bottles. I have big bottles of Tabasco sauce, like next to my desk for emergency Tabasco. So I'm a huge fan of Tabasco. Acelia, which because I'm not sure which comment you're referring to. Please share the link if you can, or on Discord. Which link are you talking about? Or did you mean that for someone else to share a link? Okay, let's get back here. Okay. Oh, look at this. Martin has showed us the forbidden, beautiful art, by the way, the forbidden vertical layout. I have tried this. And I couldn't make it work for me. I couldn't make it work for me at all. This was, it just felt really awkward. And the other thing is Windows, I don't know about Mac OS, but Windows is just really not optimized for this, I think, right? Maybe I'll give it another chance. But yeah, I've seen some people draw like this, but I've never done it for real. Just tested it out. Okay, we have another. Oh, look at this setup. This is from who sent this one? Gotta make sure I get the right name. Rocode. If I didn't pronounce it correctly, just please let me know. Oops, before I get there. Oh, I jumped ahead. Wait. Sorry. I'm gonna go back. I jumped ahead a couple of people. Martin shows us the power strip, the Mac Minis underneath the stand. I need a lamp like this, by the way. I draw in general darkness. Nam says, this is good. I like this. You've got a ring light, so I expect you're doing some streaming. And I'm really curious, Nam, what this thing here is. This is that meant for like 3D manipulation? I believe that's what it is. This is another interesting accessory. Well, I'm curious what you use this little half keyboard type thing for. Anything else interesting we see? USB hubs. That looks like a Wacom. Nice. Yeah, I'd love to hear about that is really interesting looking device there. Let's see. Inf says vertical might work well with a 16 by 10 XP pen. Yeah, I could believe that. I could believe it, right? Let's see. Azalea says, I see ZBrush, and that is a 3D mouse. Oh, it was a 3D. Okay. For using Maya when 3D modeling. See, I've always wanted a device like that for doing art. And the closest I've come to is, of course, the Tourbox. But I've always fantasized, something really dramatic like special. And let's see, as Celia says, it allows you um, to temple and pan at the same time and move the object as if it was in 3D space. Interesting. Okay. So it sounds like it's very built for 3D manipulation, as opposed to the TrueBox, which is very generic. Let's see, Jerome28. Love the background, by the way. That looks like a PTH 860. It looks like a large one. Tell me if I'm wrong about that one, Jerome28. And then a keyboard, sorry, what do you call this? A controller. I'm assuming you're gaming. And I think this is a Logitech keyboard, if I'm not mistaken. I like this. See this, take a look. Okay, I'm going to focus on this for a second. That's a really large picture. Look how beautiful and clean the PTH series looks, right? And the active area is like in this region, okay? But it still just looks elegant and beautiful. I think it's hard to beat this design. Look, don't get me wrong. I mean, maybe I expected Wacom to improve. Okay, actually, let me back up. Huion Canvas 16 Gen 3 has 2 dials and like 8 buttons. And maybe I just thought Wacom would do that and just make these maybe a little better. Like, I was never happy with this ring thing. I just found it super irritating to use, right? But I thought they would just improve this. I really was not expecting the buttons to move to the top. It was a huge surprise. This looks elegant. I'll be really interested to put this next to the new version, the 2025 version, and just see how elegant they are. Let's see, Vishal says something about the controller. It feels like you're holding the object in the hand when working. Interesting. Interesting. But very nice. And you look, and sorry, in this Jerome28, you put the tablet between yourself and the keyboard. That's how I do it. I actually, I think you're doing it as well. Because there's a bezel on top, I actually pull the keyboard on top of the tablet to bring the keys closer to me. Because otherwise it's quite a reach. I have long arms, but it still feels like quite a reach. Okay. The mini keyboard is the JS Tech Digital Designer keyboard. Let me scroll up here. This little thing, I think you're, okay. Intuos large, customized working area for Wacom. Yep, I do the same thing, Jerome. I do exactly the same thing. I shift the working area down as much as possible and move the keyboard over as much as possible. And then we have, oh, Ryan noticed this, so let's zoom in on it. I didn't see it, this pen stand. I printed out a lot of, I bought a 3D printer, a Bamboo Labs X1C, and I printed out a bunch of pen stands. And they work. I have a lot of pens, as you know, EMR pens. But I'm always searching for a better design. I don't think mine looks very good, by the way. I like that this is clear plastic, too, so you can see the pen. Mine has opaque plastic, so you can't see the pen at all. Ink Blaster. I use a toothbrush holder for my pens. That's an interesting idea. I'm going to look at that. That's a novel idea. Let's get back to the Discord and row code. Huion Canvas 16. This is the one we saw before. Okay, so first of all, I love this. I guess it looks a mouse pad. I love it. I love the color of it. I love the little cats peeking there, row code. It's very pretty. And I like, oh, I didn't even notice the setup of your computer. You have a little frog there. That's a nice little design. I love that. And this looks like this was the Huion 16, I believe you said. This is a cool setup. Now, one thing I will say, this has nothing to do really with the specific thing I'm looking at. But a thing that's happened to me which is happening to all of us and you. I grew older, as you know, I'm in my 50s, but as you get older, your eyes have a harder time focusing on what's close. Like I used to be able to read something like up against my eye, right? And over time, it diminishes. And these days, because of that, it's one of the reasons I don't like using pen tablets as much. And also, I don't get the correct bifocals or what are they, progressive lenses, so that doesn't help either because I'm vain. But I have to keep my monitors at a distance from me. So my normal drawing monitor is like 3 feet, maybe almost 4, let's say 3.5 feet from my eyes. It's quite a distance, so I have to use big monitors these days. I can use a small monitor. This monitor is just an arm width away. But for me, I need extra space, right? Again, it has nothing to specifically do with this setup. It's one of the reasons that you get older, you have to like work on the arrangement of things a bit more. Ink Blaster, is this your setup? With green and the cats? I liked it. I like it. It's very pretty. Okay, let us get back to... Okay, Arch. Wait, Arch, is this for real? You have this? That's wild. That is wild. And it looks expensive. And this is for what, racing, you said? Oh, Ink Blaster, you're Jerome 28. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. It's so funny. Everyone has different names everywhere, right? I'm always the 7 pens everywhere. Or maybe 7 pens, but it's sometimes hard to keep track of everyone's different names in different communities. Let's see. Let me quickly check live stream chat, see if anything's going on there. Okay, a few comments. I'll come back there. You do get extra points, Arch, by the way, on this. But that's wild. That is absolutely wild. And I'm reading Arch's comment. That's the main monitor swiveled onto the rig desk on the right. Oh, so you just do this and suddenly it's hooked up. Oh, that's clever. That's clever. I had an idea which I got 80% of the way there, where it's like 2 desks that face each other, and I would just try to rotate the monitor. And the idea was one desk is for art and the other is for like work. The spacing didn't work out. I have plenty of space, but it was just awkward to do this change. That was one of my fantasies. I tried to quad purpose as a flight setup, but it's not really doable with this config. Okay. By the way, I have a big interest in aviation. Every now and then I watch these guys with simulators in their basements, and like really it looks like a 747 or something, or an Airbus. I want to be unfair to Airbus, and I'm just amazed how deeply they get into this hobby. And sometimes I actually watch these guys take off and like fly for 30 minutes and land. It's quite interesting. I also sometimes listen to air traffic control as kind of ASMR background music. Let's see. Okay, Edbot. Mist. Okay, Mist is Edbot. Everyone remember that. Okay. Mist, what are we seeing here, Edbot? It looks like a PTH 860 with paper taped on it. Is that correct? I've heard of people doing this. I've never seen anyone do it. And you got to tell us how this works out. I assume it's because you want more friction. And I'm just curious if that wears out. But if I've got that wrong, it's not paper that you've taped on, let me know. And if it is paper, what kind of paper are you using and why are you using it, please? And then there's, okay, you've got one of these mice with a trackball and another kind of keyboard here, right? I like this. And again, we see another pattern here where these PTH 860s are large. if you put them to the side, you have to reach your arm over. So you have to put them right in front of you. Otherwise, you will not be able to reach the upper, the corners, the top corners. So I'm guessing here from this setup. Actually, let me take a look. Who was this again? This was Edbot. Missed. I'm guessing here, Missed Edbot, that you move your keyboard over, and when you need to have shortcuts, you actually use this, which looks like half a keyboard or some other device. I've never seen one like this, so I wonder what that is. And then this looks like to be a pen display, I'm guessing. Is this a pen display here, or just an extra monitor? I like the. By the way, I'm a fan of having. What was I going to say? I like the kind of, when I'm drawing, I don't like to have monitors to the side. I like this kind of, I'm just looking down up, right? Because when things are on their side, I feel like there's too much head motion for me. But that's my preference. It's a numpad, he says. Okay. And okay. I just never seen one exactly like. Oh, maybe now I think I'm thrown off by the fact that there's 2 buttons on the top left, and my brain doesn't recognize it as a numpad for some reason. Okay, it's temporary because fixing your studio. Okay, Nam says, I attached a wood piece to the edge so the pen won't fall off. Now that is a good hack. I love this idea. This is, if I'm looking at the pen, that's a Pro Pen 2 KP504E. And these cost to replace like $80, right? So anything you can do to keep a pen from falling off your desk is a great idea. So I might actually consider this, because I tell people don't drop their pens, but I drop my pens all the time. So that's a really clever little hack there. I like that. Let's see if you're a genius. Whitcrack says, not a lefty, but I rotate my Wacom so the buttons are on the right side. Interesting. You're the first non-lefty I've seen do that. This makes me use the tablet's buttons more. Also, I use copy paper as a texture sheet. I can't get those texture sheets in my country. What is copy paper? Is it something especially thin or especially thick? It sounds like, since you're using it as a texture sheet, it might be especially thick. So, Woodcrack, if you can just help us understand what copy paper means in this context. Lots of people ask me, it's impossible to get texture sheets sometimes. So I'm really curious if there's an alternative for people. And In says, my puppy chomped my Pro Pen 2 in half, but it somehow still works. Dogs and cats, especially dogs, are leading causes of tablet disasters or tablet tragedies. Okay, Art says, copy paper is printer paper, pretty thin and slick. Okay, interesting. And Woodcrack says, a regular A4 HVS paper. Okay. And you don't tape it down, Woodcrack? I don't see any tape. So I'm just curious. And I see you have a clip here to make it stay. But is this enough for you? Because I think I tried something like this and I would end up pulling the paper. And it didn't work for me. Let's get back here. Hey, and everyone, please share more of your art. We remember, we want to see that too. Okay, Nikhil is showing us something. This looks like a really interesting setup. Okay, let's open it. I keep not being able to click on this correctly. Okay, so what are we seeing here? And how come I can't zoom on this correctly? Zooming and Discord. Okay, so you've got one big monitor on top, split into two halves. Oh, look, it's me. I didn't notice it was the stream. And let's see. Whitcrack says, I don't tape it. I change it quite often, almost weekly. Okay, so you go through quite a bit of it. Then. Okay. And then you've got an looks like an ultra wide monitor, Nikhil. I tried a 29 by 1, but I just couldn't adjust to it. Even when it was, it let me sort of have separate it into two different displays. And even then, it was hard for me to deal with because the size was super cumbersome. The size was super cumbersome for me. So I've been avoiding these like extra wide. Also, like it'll really affect your tablet because you have to, if you're going to use forced proportions, you lose a lot of like active area. That's why I've been avoiding them. But for normal monitor usage, it might work out quite nicely. Okay, looks like you've got a Stream Deck. Fantastic. I'm trying to set up a Stream Deck for this machine to switch to do my streaming. Yeah, 29 by 1 for productivity is great, and I did like it. It just combined with the fact that the one I got this is many years ago didn't have great resolution, and it was so heavy, and it was especially hard to even get the cables connected inside because there was no really. You couldn't, what's the right word? You know, with a normal monitor, you can tilt it. With a 21 by 9, the tilt can't, it's so wide, you know, like this, I guess, right? I'm going to use this as an example. The 21 by 9 is so wide, when you tilt it, this part hits the desk. So it was, and the connectors were down here, so it was really hard to see them and get my hands underneath them. It was so irritating. Well, that problem was solved for me because in Microsoft, you end up moving offices a lot, right? And like, you know, you're in one building and then they move you to another building. And then in the middle of one of those moves, someone stole my 21 by 9 monitor. I shouldn't say stole it. You know, maybe the moving crew thought that it was like garbage or something, or I don't know, and just threw it away. But I was a little sad, a little upset about that, but also I was kind of relieved because like it was just a pain to transport in the car also. So, but that was how I got rid of my 21 by 9 monitor. Oh, and Nikhil says it's excellent for 3D work. Okay, I can believe that. I can believe that real estate helps. Let's see. Oh, we got so many here. Edbot. What are we looking at here? This is you made another little mod I made from a tablet, so I'm gonna put it in a more comfortable angle. Oh, so what, you 3D printed this? I think that's how I'm interpreting it. And is it like is this on the back of the tablet? Did you like glue it there or use some of that double sticking tape thing? This is interesting. This is actually interesting. I actually kind of wish drawing tablets, especially when they get large, that they did let you have a little bit of an angle because it is a little more comfortable for me. Like for the Intuos 4 XL, which is huge, it's like a 22-inch monitor. That needs to be on a stand because if it's not, you can't reach the top of it. You have to bring them closer to you. So the stands are necessary when you start getting a large tablet, at least large pen tablet. Let's see. Arch says, "Oh, sorry. Before I get to Arch, I got the legs from AliExpress. Okay, so it's not 2D printed. You found them. Okay, $5, not bad. Let's see. Ultra wide. Ultra wide. Arch says ultra wide is like going from 60 hertz to 120 hertz. It's going to be really expensive. Raise your standards too high, and in general, complicate your life. So I recommend you stay away from them. Yeah. Well, that was my experience, right? It complicated my life. Even though I kind of liked it, it complicated things in a practical sense. Edbot says, you can see the damage I did try to drill holes in the back. You drilled holes? Okay, let's go back there for a second. I want to see this. I want to see the damage. Oh, okay. I remember, I did notice these little marks, and I just thought it was, I wasn't sure what it was. So I think this is what you were talking about, the damage, huh? I've been too scared to try something like that. People have done it with their pen tablets and pen displays, like drilled into them. Back when they were really thick, it made sense, but they're getting so thin now. I think it's difficult. I'm going to put, yeah. Okay, Martin has provided. Okay, what are we looking at here? This, I think you found this one. That's a bit of a mess. That's a bit of a mess. I don't even know what's going on here. It's giving me the creepy sensation just looking at it. It's that's bad. Okay. Now let me go here. Yeah, I think it's a great idea to use pen tablets with tablet stands. I absolutely do. And Edbot's solution was $5, so I think that works out great. And as long as it's stable. Auxilliary, 2 laptops. You use, oh wow, you got some powerful stuff going on. Mac, M1 Mac, 64 gigs. Yep, that's, I love more memory. Razer 3070 Ti, 64 gigabytes of RAM. Okay, you got some powerful setups. Okay, let's take a look at the tablets. Wacom Pro Medium with Ergo Pen. Is that the which pen is that? You don't mean Pro Pen 2, or do you? Huion 16 4K Plus. Oh yeah, I remember you saying that you like that one. Software, Maya, and ZBrush. And you've got a camera. You've got this. I forgot what this type of holder is called. A stand for holding I guess, a camera. Are you streaming, Auxilliary? Is that what it is? Or recording your videos? Oh, what was this? I've never seen anyone do this before. I gotta take a look at this. So, okay, am I seeing this correctly? You created little stickers for to identify what the shortcuts do. Interesting. I have never seen anyone do this. This is a first. Oh, it's a Pro Pen too? Okay, thank you for clarifying it. This is cool. This is actually cool. I never even considered this, honestly. But I like the idea. Let's see. And I think I've seen this what do you call it, grip on Amazon. Do you like using it? Because I've always wondered about. I've seen it advertised, but let us know how it works, because I wasn't sure if I could trust it. But I like the look of it. And let's see. In general, I love the look of the color, by the way, which I wish more tablet accessories had some color. And there's the box with the Huion. This is the Huion 16 4K, I believe you mentioned, Pro. And actually, let me back up for a second. You're using both the Huion and the Wacom with the same computer, Auxilliary? That looks good. And the reason I ask about using on the same computer is, um, sorry, I need to just rub my eyes a little bit. The on my experience has been with Mac OS. In fact, the Mac Mini I'm using right now, I have Wacom, Huion, XP Pen, SenseLab drivers all installed, and they don't seem to interfere with each other. But on Windows, there's interference, at least in my experience. Maybe, and there's a theory I can make them not interfere. People have said that it's possible, but I have never been able to successfully do it. And okay, you're saying you do use the same computers and you change between them. So did you configure them in any specific way to not conflict? I'm curious if you did. Like I would think you'd at least have to turn off Windows Ink on one of those drivers to make it work, at least. Oh, Edbot reminds us the Intuos 4 had small LED screen, right? That is exactly what I was talking about. Sorry, I'm glad you mentioned that, Edbot, because we had this envisioning session earlier this year, or was it? Yeah, this year we had a live stream where we talked about what's the future of tablets, and I really do think there's a place for an embedded display on tablets. I'm not saying it's like a monitor, but an auxiliary display to show other things. So let me give you an example. I'd like an auxiliary display to show me the pressure level, right? So I get some sort of additional feedback about the pen or the tilt or whatever. So like I know the pen is working, right? Oh, I see. Yeah, Celia's answered. I just installed the drivers and went with it. Okay, well, as long as it's working for you, that's what counts. And maybe this gives me some inspiration to take a look and see if I can just install them again and make them work. And Nizia says, I'm also using Mac OS and I'm planning on using the Spoken drivers. Spoken. I think you mean some other driver manufacturer along with Wacom drivers. Yeah, I've had great success with, like I have 4 different drivers on my machine and they all work on my Mac Mini. And I've done the same thing with my Mac book. So it's like on multiple computers, it all just works. And Celia says, I did not have any issues plug and play on both Mac and Windows. I just make sure that I turn off one driver before. Okay. So you turn one off. Maybe that is the secret to having it not conflict. I'll keep that in mind when I try it. And Nizio says, okay, it was XP Pen is what you meant. No worries. Thank you, Nizio, for clarifying. Okay, let me take a look at anything in live stream chat to see if I missed anything. Let's take a look. I actually made my, so now Nam says, I actually made my dream tablet design back in 2020. And what are we looking at now? Is this, there's a screen there with a color picker is I think what you're trying to do, right? And there are 2 dials is what I see, right? I think the challenge I have with this isn't specifically true to your idea here. It's actually just in general, the practical issue where color pickers are. So let me give you what I mean. If you're drawing with one monitor, right, then the color picker will match what you see. Like if you pick orange in the color picker, you'll see orange on your canvas because that's what's supposed to happen. However, if you use 2 different displays, then like there's some variation in the 2 displays, right? And so you could be picking something here, but by the time you get to this display, it's going to be a little bit off. And the more different these displays are, the more off it can be. And that's why I've been, I always keep my color picker, even if I have multiple displays. And I'm sometimes put palettes on the other display, but I always keep the color picker on the same display where I have the canvas. And the reason I say that is I'm curious how you thought about making sure that the color you pick on a tablet like this would actually match the color you see on the canvas because they're two different displays. Does that make sense? But I love the overall concept, right? Another thing I'd like, honestly, in a pen tablet or a pen display is where's my those Stream Decks, right? So they're essentially there's an LCD panel and there's like buttons. I'd like that, right? So the buttons are not only customizable per application, but you actually see the shortcuts. In other words, instead of using stickers like someone else had in the stream, literally have the buttons change, show something different, right? I know it'll be horribly complex for a tablet brand to implement, but that's the idea. Okay, let's see. We've got let's say Celia. Yeah, everyone please share. Celia's going to share some stuff. So I think I saw this before, and I think I asked was this inspired by 2001: A Space Odyssey. And I think the answer was it was somewhat inspired by it. Oh, look at this. Cars in a very geometric fashion. Love the design. Was this for a game, Celia? I like this kind of stylized rendering, by the way. See, I'm not courageous enough to do something like that. I don't have the talent to create sort of like what's the right word? To have really stylized things. It's just it goes against my mental makeup. I don't have the creativity for it. Oh, I like this. I like that a lot. Very nice. Thank you for sharing, Celia. And then, oh, you got this. You made this as well. I don't think there's any audio for this. Okay. Okay, I'm going to replay that. Restart it. Very nice. Very nice. And so many people. Okay. This is good too. Sorry, it's hard for me. Whenever I open up something in the browser, it like moves Discord out of the way. So I have to find it again. More of my work, the pro kind. Let's take a look. Okay, I'm going to randomly pick something. Oh, giving me instructions. Final render, second project. Okay, that's the one we saw. Okay. Yeah, everyone look through there, see if you find anything interesting. Okay, and then Mihao Patrick. Oh, sorry, before we get to him. Okay, Mihao Patrick. Man, everyone's got lots of devices. I thought I was crazy for having a lot of devices, but some of you are putting me to shame. Okay, that's a PTH 860 and a keyboard. And you've got what? Okay, has anyone seen that picture of? It's like the meme. It's like chaotic good, chaotic neutral, but it's a bunch. It's a how you place monitors. Right. Let me see if I can find it actually. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to search for this monitor placement, chaotic. Okay, let's see if this finds it. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Okay. I am neutral good. Okay. And according to the picture Mihao is showing us, he is either chaotic neutral or chaotic evil. That's where I'm thinking he's at. Right? Because you got two monitors on the side. That's chaotic evil. And okay. Let's see what study with Prasad. Let's see what this question is. Recommend a pen tablet for teaching, please. Deco 01 is my budget range. Hey, my standard recommendation is CT. Let me just write it down. Wacom One CTL 672, or XP Pen Deco M or Deco L. Okay, grenade. Celia wants us to see something. I want you to see the grenade. It's the last project. I would love to hear your thoughts because it went to game, so people did hear the decks. Okay, let's go there. Let's see that grenade. I just gotta let's get the Discord. Get back to me in a second. Okay, was it the last one? Grenade Mauve. It's a movie. Let's do it. It's way more. That looks complicated to make. That didn't look easy to make at all. Is this based on off a real grenade? I appreciate the details here, and I will tell you this: you for some bizarre reason, I drew a grenade last year, and I actually looked at a reference picture of an actual United States military grenade. Looks different from this, but I've never been near a grenade, obviously, but it was interesting seeing how more complex they are than I thought they were. Well, I like it. And one of the things that I noticed most was like the ring. I don't know what you call it. I guess it's the thing you pin or something that you pull. Thank you for sharing that, Cecilia. Well, thank you, Study with Prasad. Yeah, I'm here. I just try to help people, and I think very shortly, in the next generation of tablets from Huion and XP Pen, maybe one more generation after that, every drawing tablet on the market is going to be great, and the things we'll need to worry about are quite different. So I'm just trying to help people until we get to this age when everything is just going to work. And then we can do some exciting stuff. Martin, oh, this is super cute, man. I like this. I like this. It's super cute. I'm going to guess, Martin, you use Clip Studio Paint for this? Tell me if I got that right. Okay. Let me see if I notice anything else in here from Mihao, though. And are these all hooked up to this this ThinkPad, Mihao? Or is that just a separate you have another computer for these things? I had a ThinkPad at work, and I don't know. I never really used it for art, though. It should have been fine, but I just somehow never felt like it was. I guess I maybe always associated with work. Yeah, Celia, we're not going to ask why Arch is doing homework on grenades. Arch always surprises me with the things he knows, right? Because it's almost always Arch who brings up the F-35 in this stream. It's a flash and noise grenade. I would never have known that. Bunny girls, I mean, as long as, are they not safe? I think they're fine as long as, they're not undressed or anything. I think that's fine. Share it. If I'm wrong about that, let me know. Let me assure you, I am not, I'm not quite hip on all the cultural things that go on, but it sounds safe. In my head, when you say bunny girl, I'm thinking of Lola Bunny from Space Jam, right? So maybe that means something different. And let's see, Mihao says the laptop is hooked to the right display. Got it. So the laptop's on the right display, and then your other computer's hooked up to those two. I have done that a little bit, but I get very confused if I have multiple monitors with different computers hooked up to them because I always type on the wrong keyboard. Edbot says, honestly, I think we're pretty much there. The iPod got a huge chunk of the market and has a lot of wobble. Probably the worst. The next speed pen human. Okay, this is actually a worthy topic that just briefly, I still owe everyone a diagonal wobble video. But what Edbot is revealing is true. If you take the test I do for diagonal wobble and you see how many tablets have it, but then you try the iPad, you'll discover the iPad, when you draw at slow speeds, has way more diagonal wobble than lots of tablets. It's really, actually, you know what? Why? I think I may even have an example. Let me see if I can show it to you. Give me a second. I have to open up a browser and get there. 1 second. I'm trying to move some of this stuff away. This is so complicated. Hang on. Okay, files. Personal. I think it's public diagonal wobble samples. And then, is it Apple? Yeah, here it is. This is the Apple iPad Pro 11-inch. Okay. Now, this is before I had my standardized testing thing, but can everyone see the wobble? Right? And because I'm using a thick brush, I think it hides some of it. But take a look at this. This is a lot of wobble. Like if anyone showed me this for a pen display, I'd be like, this has bad wobble. However, what's funny is no one notices. Even I don't notice. And I think the reason for that are we just draw really quick with the iPad. I think we stroke pretty quickly. And when you stroke fast, it avoids this wobble problem. So one of the things I have to come up with is like, how much does wobble matter? Because it's easy to take a look at a tablet and, I measure it and you see a little bit of wobble and you think, oh, that's a bad tablet. But the truth is, in a lot of cases, you'll never experience the wobble. Wobble when you're drawing really slow is one thing and you can kind of correct that. When you draw fast, that's a real problem because it's hard to correct fast wobble at fast speeds if you see it at fast speeds. But if the iPad is successful with this much wobble, then it means like lots of wobble will be okay for people. Not lots of tablets that have some wobble will be okay for people. So yeah, I'll try to get a wobble thing out in the next, month or so. Okay, back to Discord. Looks good. Love this style. I love that style. Put a heart by both of these. I'll make another comment. This is partly due to my age. When I was young, all we ever did was draw like characters from comic books, right? I mean, basically, there was no, I grew up in the 80s and, I was born in the 70s. There was no manga around and there wasn't any anime either, okay? So we didn't have much to go on. We had Disney cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons, and, these kinds of things and comic books. And one thing that always surprises me is how much this style of art, which seems heavily influenced by manga, etc., how many people actually draw in this style and develop their style this way. I think it's amazing. I would never have thought you'd see it become so popular because it was super niche when I was young. Like no one, just very alien for people. But now it's so popular. I love to see it. And the reason I bring that up is I like really clean line work, and that's what I see here, and I love it. Right? It's something I need to practice a lot. I'm not good at this kind of delicate line work and changing the line width. It's a real weakness, right? But it the skill is clear here. So thank you for sharing it. Let's see. The editor says I think he thinks Michael Patrick could use more monitors there. Chaotic evil. That's right. Chaotic evil. I was wondering why Mihao had not rotated the laptop because he's preventing us from seeing the company logo. That's smart. And Celia, I think, yeah, Martin, share an Instagram if you do. By the way, should I get an Instagram account? I don't have one. I don't know what I do with one, but I don't know, I was tempted to. Nikhil says, Huion on Canvas 13, in response to what kept glitching on me with the lines lagging, jump could usually what's going on. Yeah, it's a common thing for looking down causes neck pain. Same true for me. Nizio on Instagram. Okay. Ooh, Ernest Denault. Hello, Ernest. Let's take a look at this. Actually, let's see the comment first. I use custom keyboard hotkeys. Most of the time I don't need to look at a keyboard at all. Laptop is Lenovo Legion i9. Pretty powerful. Okay, 64 gigs. 4070, that's quite a laptop. Keychron K2, nice. Logitech MX3s. Got a nice setup here. Oh, you labeled everything. How nice. Thank you. This makes it really easy to see what's which. 32-inch, that's right now because I keep my monitors away from me. That's my favorite size. 144 hertz. I'm still back at 60 hertz. Huion 16, use it as a pen. Oh, I love the commentaries on the tablet. Fantastic. We'll replace... okay, so you have the Huion 16, but you're going to get the the Wacom Intuos Pro 2025. Nice. It's a very clean layout. One thing I notice here is you have a lot of space on your desk. It seems like you have a lot of depth and space, which I appreciate. The other thing that caught me maybe a little off guard is your mouse pad is rotated, or it's going up farther than it is left and right. And is that because you're trying to just make it easier to deal with your mouse going across all three screens, I guess? Oh, you have comments I've been missing. I like this. By the way, thank you so much for labeling everything. It gives me an idea the next time I need to show my layout. Okay, Art says bunny girl as in a revealing outfit. Then that's fine. I mean, revealing outfits are fine. Let's see. I type on the laptop keyboard, so I can't mistake it. Mice are different, but I keep the laptop mouse close to the laptop. Okay. Okay, Study with Prasad says, I'm going to order Deco L for my Mac Mini M4. Good. I love that Mac Mini. I have the same one. Okay. Thank you. For me, the iPad Wobble is the only noticeable in Procreate, but not CSP. Oh, interesting. Okay, I hadn't even thought of that. I'll check into it. It could be something with Procreate. I don't know how the APIs, because I don't program on iPad OS. I don't know how the APIs work. So I'm curious why one app would have it, but not another one. It's weird that Procreate would have it, because I always think of Procreate as having one of the best brush engines ever. Right? That surprises me. Nizio says you should join us in weekend practice at 7 pence. I might do that. I might do that. Thing is, on weekends, I'm watching a lot of movies, so sometimes I just don't get a chance to do things. Let's see. Well, Prasad, thank you for that comment. But just so everyone knows, you know, how can I say this? I try not to have. Actually, I don't try. I make this true. Um, Drawing table prints have contacted me, not for sponsorships per se, but for sending me a review unit for a tablet, and I always say no, and I always say that I have to buy it myself, number one, and I have to buy it from the retail store. They can't. I don't want them to send me anything, and the reason for that is, I want to make sure people who are listening to me talk about tablets understand that I'm doing so. And I have no bias toward the tablets, right? Like if I had any kind of relationship with the tablet manufacturer, you could, and I'm not criticizing people getting review units because it's the reality, right? I think you'll trust me more if you realize I have nothing invested in good or bad, right? And I know it is expensive to buy all these tablets. I've spent I think the last time I checked, in the last 3 years, $35,000 on tablets. And I think I now have, actually, I just purchased the Intuos Pro, all 3 models. When they arrive, I'll have 80 drawing tablets, right? And yeah, it does add up after a while, but it's really important I keep my separation from drawing tablets, right? But I appreciate the thought, maybe I'd do a sponsorship if it had nothing to do with drawing tablets or, like Clip Studio Paint or something, right? Maybe I'd do that because that's not really a drawing tablet topic. But I'm more than happy just doing this to help people find the right things, right? Let's see. Edbot says the wobble is there in all programs in the iPad. Already tested it. Is there if you remove the stabilization to 0? Interesting. So even Clip Studio Paint, it's happening in the next comment. Okay, I hadn't realized that. But it's good you tried Clip Studio Paint and CSP because they're very different brush engines, right? So that tells us that when you see two very different things have the same problem, it hints that the problem is deeper, right? So in the iPad OS. And let's see. Okay. So Ernest Denault, this was great. This was actually really good. I love this setup. And you have this. What is this thing sticking out here? It looks like something to put your arm on, maybe, like an armrest. And then, oh wow, I love this. You've written down all the hotkey combos. I love this. I do something similar. This is way more complex than I have. I do something similar, actually. I'm going to show it to you. It's much less than this. I'll open up my my website here where I put all my docs. And let me just type in Torbox. And I have my notes here somewhere. Yep. So I love my Torbox. I love it. And I've even bought them as gifts for people. But this is how I configure my Torbox. You don't have to read it. My point is, it shows you how I use it, and there's so many options. But I love the idea of documenting things because there's so many options. And this is how I document my Torbox usage. It's an armrest, Ernest. Okay, great. sometimes you have so many shortcuts you need it, and you have way more than I do. So I love little artifacts like this that show how much time you've taken to customize your workspace. I love that. Study with Prasad. Have you tried Pixelmator Pro? Planning to buy this app for making thumbnails? I haven't. I'm on Windows, and I just honestly, I just use for thumbnails. I actually just use. I guess it depends on what I'm making thumbnails of. When I do thumbnails for my YouTube videos, I just use PowerPoint and I just export them as, basically HD resolution. For other kinds of thumbnails, I use. There's a tool called in Windows. What's it called? Power Tools or something, and that just takes care of some automatic resizing for me. Other than that, I just do it manually in Clip Studio Paint. Auxilliary, I thought I'm hardcore by making stickers and printing them on my Wacom tablet. This next level of care is beyond me. Yeah, it's once you start really optimizing your life, whatever you're doing, coding or art or music or whatever, you end up doing. I mean, I'm the kind of person that ends up doing like writing things down like this, right? So to me, it's like second nature to like document what I do, just in case I forget. Okay, let's take. This is a bunny. Okay, let's just take a look. Oh, this is totally fine. I would not call this unsafe for work. It looks totally fine. And nicely done. I think it's very nicely done. And Meow raises a great thing. It is. I've done this. It is absolutely possible to so get yourself so deep involved in some hobby, it isn't fun anymore, right? It starts to become work. I'll give you my example, and not everyone's on the same place as me. When I was young, I loved flight simulator games, right? But back then, flight simulator games were really games, right? Like you just played them. And then I remember they started getting more complex. And then one day, I'm reading the manual, because back then we still had printed manuals, for how to configure the radar modes on the F-16 Falcon. And that day, and then I realized, hey, wait a second. This is becoming work for me. It's no longer fun to fly the game. It's like, it's work. Now, these days, people actually get into that because they play like games like DCS or things. But for me, I know where I want my fun to be. And sometimes, so to Mihaw's point, you got to know where you want to be. And if you do too much of this kind of structuring, it can make what you used to love feel like work. So that's a point that's well taken. Thank you for sharing that, Meow. Study with Prasad says, I have seen people making tutorials for thumbnails using MS Paint and PowerPoint. I will try. Yeah. I actually, in PowerPoint, I wrote in C# code an add-in for PowerPoint that I do a one click and creates thumbnails for me. So I don't even have to like do anything manual. I literally click one button with my mouse, and whatever slide I'm looking at, it creates a very specific thumbnail in both PNG and JPEG format and puts it in my documents folder. I mean, that's a little bit of a, power user move, let's say. I wouldn't expect, most people to want to go to that effort, but I do a lot of copy and pasting of thumbnails or images from PowerPoint into various apps. So for me, it's a huge time saver. Oh, my fingers rest on WASD and most hotkeys all about WASD. Okay. Tablet Kitten. This was in the Osu game main menu. Wait, Tablet Kitten, this is yours, right? You had your art in Osu? I think you mentioned this before. This is great. Study with Prasad. I haven't tried really 365 with Copilot. I've tried Copilot a little bit, but I haven't done anything with it yet. I'm still trying to figure out what I can do with it. I will tell you, I have played around with Grok a bit, which is quite interesting because I pay for a premium subscription for Twitter for some silly reason. Okay, this is Martin slash Nizio's Instagram. So everyone who wants to join. Okay. Uh, Acelia says, since you have a background in computer science, if you had to pick a language you love the most, what would it be? Also, did you try assembly? Yeah, I let me answer this backwards. Yeah, I loved assembly. We did. I forgot. It was like the assembly for a DEC VAX computer. Uh, I highly recommend everyone to try it. I'm not saying program in it. Just take one course in it because once you do assembly, a lot of things become clear and you'll actually understand C better if you know a little bit of assembly. Like you'll understand sort of its motivations. Uh, it's fun, right? And you feel like you're really talking to the computer more. But I would never recommend programming in assembly as a normal thing. Um, my favorite programming language is C sharp, and because I think it is a very it's clean. It has super good tooling. As far as I'm concerned, Microsoft Visual Studio is the best integrated developer environment in the universe. It's getting more complicated. It's getting a little bit harder to understand right now, but it is my favorite, and it's gotten the most innovation. Right? Python is probably the second. Uh, I still write a lot of Python because I use Jupyter notebooks. I would say these days it's great for people who are trying to learn about programming to try Python first because it's easy to do stuff with it. Um, but I would never build any like large scale app with it. But yeah, my favorite is C sharp. Let's see. Mihao says it helps understand pipelining a bit if you do it along an architecture course. Yeah, I never got that deep into it. I was just really amazed that I'm going to talk a little technical. Not every, I won't bore everyone with this, but Mihao sort of is technical and sort of understands what I'll be saying, and he's more technical than me. What I found interesting about C was understanding assembly. It's like I started with C and I didn't understand why C did the things it did. Then I took a course in assembly and like lots of things started making sense, right? Like, and I started to get a greater appreciation for like the stack and the heap and registers, right? And that is really was fascinating for me, right? Just absolutely fascinating. I've thought about getting a more modern 8-bit computer. They sell these like modern 8-bit computers and just trying it again. Uh, we'll see. I have plenty of things to keep me busy. Let's see. Celia says, wow, VS Code shootout. I'm a text editor type of guy. I like Sublime Text because I hate it when the ID suggests something. I want to be away. I just want to focus on coding. Yeah, look, the thing I hear you. Like I coded in, uh, what was it again? I think I used VI for a long time. I can't remember. This is a very long